on guys, Jock here, and welcome back to APA Wi-Fi finally. This is our first round playoff game. We did make it to playoffs after finishing the season 7 and 5. I think Hugo played one more game for us, so I think he played 2 for us this season. That was just for scheduling issues, but we were able to claw our way to playoffs after, picking up the 0-2 team, a team that I didn't actually quite enjoy. So it was good that I was able to work out how to use it, even though I didn't quite like the team. So I just want to say a massive shout out to Panther, who we actually battled for recording this. He was fantastic with it. He offered and he had the battle to me within like half an hour after the battle. So he was fantastic. So thanks a lot. And massive shout out to Jacob as well for joining the team again. He was fantastic. Had the team to me within an hour or two, and I didn't even give him long. I gave him about 16 hours to do the team and he had it done for me. So thanks a lot to those two guys. But going into this battle, this is such a massive battle because Panther's by far the favourite to win the league, so I'd like to think past Panther gives me a really good chance to go and grab that first championship. So I knew this almost was like a final before the final. Obviously everyone else is such capable battlers, and I'm not saying I'm better than, they're all capable of beating me. A lot of the people out on the other side of the bracket beat me through the regular season, so it will be difficult, but beating Panther itself is such a massive thing. So I think the last battle I actually uploaded was our battle with Panther on Showdown, and I brought the exact same team. I sat down for about an hour, I spoke to friends about it, and we all came up with the conclusion that I genuinely think I might have built the perfect team for him. Because, again, it's a Scarf Thunderous, Payapa very physically defensive Amoonguss, just a regular 4 attacks Mega Alakazam, a Life Orb 3 attack with Stealth Rock Cobalion, the Assault Vest Meloetta with enough special attack to 2-hit KO any form of Latios, and the physically defensive Mandibuzz just for his Sand. And I didn't feel like I could drop any of these. Only, all my other Pokemon really had bad matchups. I didn't like Volcarona's matchup at all, because it struggles to break Gigalith, it struggles to break Milotic, it gets outsped by Excadrill and Revenge killed with Rock Slide. So I didn't like Volcarona. I quite liked Persian, but I liked everything else. So I felt like I just had the best team possible. So we'll just play it off here. So again, massive shout out to Panther for recording this for me. It's fantastic. And so going into this battle, I wanted to lead my Thundurus because I didn't want him to get any sort of initiative, so I wanted to make sure I got the initiative, and he leads off with his Milotic. So I knew I was never going to T-Bolt here, and he knew I was never going to T-Bolt, so maybe I should have U-turned, but I hidden power ground here and he actually stays in. I was expecting Excadrill or Jolteon to come in, and he fires off an Ice Beam, which here does a massive chunk. You see, it does about 98 points of damage, which is easily enough to 2-hit KOs, and we get the information that he's a physically defensive set with the Flame Orb, so I have to switch my Thundurus out here, which for one reveals I'm Scarfed, but I couldn't sack my Thundurus. It was still important even though it only had one more Rock Switch in, because it was actually one of my best ways to beat this Milotic. So I bring my Amoonguss in, that even though it's specially defensive, it can take on Ice Beam from a Milotic quite easily, and he brings his Jolteon in, so we do quite well here. And I fire off a Spore, thinking he would go straight into Latios. I was actually kind of expecting a safety gog with Latios, but I had to get that knowledge, and he goes back into his Milotic, so it's very well played. So you can see he's really playing the early game ahead of us, which was very different to the last game we played. So stupidly here, I should have known this was bait. He was never going to let me Giga Drain. I should have Spored again, but as you see I didn't. I Giga Drain, which does negligible damage to this Latios. But here, because of the Payapa Berry, and I calced Specs Draco, there was no way he was going to kill me, so I knew I was free to put this Latios to sleep, and with Latios being the most difficult Pokemon for me to switch into, I thought that was fair enough, because obviously Amoonguss has Regenerator, and we see it does a massive chunk, but we do live it, and we get to put the Latios to sleep. And I was really happy with this, because I still get my Amoonguss back to nearly half just by switching out, and I don't have to switch into Latios, because this thing is ridiculous for my team to deal with. My EV Meloetta sort of deals with it, but it's going to be quite heavily pressured by Gengar as well, so I didn't want it. So I switch into Meloetta here, expecting him just to sort of try and burn his turn asleep, because Amoonguss can't touch Latios very well. And here I fire off the Charge Beam. I probably should have brought U-turn to this battle, but I never, so I just fire off the Charge Beam, and he shows that This is a sort of physically, especially defensive Gigalith, sorry, as he sets up the sand. And when he didn't show any leftovers, as you'll see at the end of this turn, it really made me think it was a soft, is it smooth rock? Yeah, smooth rock set for the 8 turns of sand. So I looked at the calc and I noticed Psyshock was doing a massive chunk to this Gigalith, so I was willing to just fire off a Psyshock here as he sets. I knew he would set his Stealth Rocks up because they're important for breaking down my Mandibuzz and pressuring my Thundurus, only giving it one more switch in. So here, I looked at that and I was like, I knew he was only at half now, so I had, I think, complete max roll for this to kill, which, sadly we don't, but I would have had to get max roll, so it's fair enough, and he gets quite a big Stone Edge off me. And I think this was a little bit of a misplay because Meloetta was my only switch into Gengar, and if I let Latios wake up, it's my only switch into that, so taking all that damage was stupid. So here I have to Charge Beam in the hope that it kills. I thought it would, looking at it, because +1 Meloetta doesn't really scare Excadrill that much. Obviously if I had Focus Blast, but if I had Focus Blast I would have clicked it on Gigalith, so I think it worked out I didn't have Focus Blast. So at +2 I would be able to 2-hit KO him with Psyshock, I think that's why I went to +2. So I knew he wouldn't risk setting up on me here, because I would do too much damage with a Psyshock. So I go Cobalion knowing that he's probably going to Iron Head. He's not going to Earthquake because Mandibuzz is a free switch in, and this damage shows to me that he's banded. That done far too much damage for it didn't show Life Orb, and it's too much for like Iron, like Steel Plate or whatever. He's got to be banned. So I knew he was going into Gengar, so I go into my Thundurus, and basically I just want to explain this play here because this is a really pivotal play. I go into my Thundurus because I had to scout if it was a Scarf Gengar, because now that I see that that's banded Excadrill, it means he's got no way of outspeeding my Alakazam with that. So, and it wasn't a Scarf Latios, so I knew he's bringing a Scarfer to outspeed my Alakazam. So I was like, it's either Gengar or Jolteon at this point in time. So, and I don't think it'll be Jolteon because I have the Volt Absorb, obviously, so locking himself into Thunderbolt isn't really going to work, and Jolteon's not that strong with its coverage. So I was expecting Scarf Gengar, but I had to switch my Thundurus in to take the sand, just to see who took sand first. And after you take Stealth Rocks here, you see I actually take sand first. I know this isn't a Scarf Gengar. Not sure what Gengar set it is, but I know it's not a Scarf Gengar. So here I die to Stealth Rocks coming back in, so I didn't think U-turn was a play. I thought he would have stayed in expecting U-turn, so I actually Hidden Power Ground as he goes Latios, which I didn't expect that because I thought he maybe would have thought I was going to U-turn. But so we don't actually die to sand like I would like to die to sand, because I don't want to switch anything into Latios, and this way, now that sand doesn't kill me, I have to let him burn Sleep Turn, so I just stay into Hidden Power Ground because there's no point in letting anything else take the hit. Thundurus can't come back as it is, there's no point in sacking Meloetta when this can't come back in, so I just keep Hidden Power Grounded until he wakes up and kills me off. But you see, he actually gets max Sleep Turn, so this just takes a while. So although we are giving Latios a kill and letting Latios wake up, I really didn't feel comfortable switching something else into Latios, which then basically meant it claimed 2 kills that way, because it would have killed whatever switched in, and it would have, my Thundurus would have been dead on the switch in to the Stealth Rock. So we sack Thundurus off here, and that racks up a nice amount of Life Orb damage, guaranteeing them. He was probably already in Shadow Ball range, but that completely guarantees it. And I switch into my Alakazam here, not Magic Guard, which was a bit of misbuilding on my part. But I just fire off the Shadow Ball here. I probably should have predicted him to switch out, but I wasn't sure, because maybe he wouldn't want me to get up a sub or whatever. But he goes into Jolteon, so I expected this. I never even calced this. I expected it to 2-hit KO, but Jolteon actually has some pretty nice Spadef, and he lives it. And I couldn't risk my Alakazam at this point in time, because I was thinking this was Scarfed, because if this wasn't Scarfed, basically Alakazam wins the game, because it kills everything else. Even though he's got 5 Pokemon left, it kills them all. So I couldn't risk it. I was like, this must be Scarfed. Nothing else is Scarfed, this must be Scarfed. So I just sack my Meloetta off, because I felt like it was the least important Pokemon to me. And I go Cobalion to get my... So you'll see I switch in my Cobalion here, and this was because I was in obviously the mindset that this was a Scarf Jolteon, which meant he would have to switch out, which would give me stealth rocks, so I'm going to set my stealth rocks up, which meant the next time I got Alakazam in on a Latios, after Latios got a kill, I would still be able to click Shadow Ball and it would kill the Jolteon, and then I would be able to win the game there from Alakazam. But it turns out he's not actually Scarf, so that was a good bluff on his part, and he Thunderbolts and gets my Cobalion very low. But I don't want to sack Cobalion here because it can still revenge kill Excadrill, which at this point in time, my only way of revenge killing Excadrill is Focus Blast on Alakazam, which 70% is not a guarantee, whereas close combat and it would be. So I think I sacked my Amoonguss because it basically dies to everything anyway. It was, you know, who was more important, and I felt like even though neither of them were very important, Cobalion was more important. He gets a little bit of an unfortunate paralysis, but I'm in Hidden Power Ice range anyway, so I was probably in Signal Beam range as well, so it didn't really matter. We just sacked the Amoonguss off. But this lets me bring Alakazam back in, and his switch into Alakazam, it doesn't exist. You know, you could take the Psyshock with Excadrill, but I'll just kill him with the Focus Blast after. So he traces Volt Absorb, which that's fine, but he just sacks his Jolteon off because, as I said, Alakazam picks up a kill, and I'm guessing he just thinks the Jolteon's the least important, which I'm a little bit surprised. I didn't actually expect him to sack that off because I thought at this point in time surely he must have realised Mandibuzz was getting a little bit of an issue. And here he tries to bluff the Scarf, which shows me he didn't look at the sand turns before, because Psyshock guarantee kills through a Payapa Berry, even max HP Gengar. So I knew this was 100% gonna kill, and so he was bluffing the Scarf and he hadn't checked his sand turns, which I guess that's a little bit of a misplay on his part. So he now brings in the Excadrill, and I'm like, alright, I just need to land the Focus Blast and I've won the game. No, I switch out here for some reason. I don't actually know why I switch out. I should have just gone for a Focus Blast, but I switched my Cobalion in, which, as you see, he Iron Heads. I didn't want to risk, that's it. I didn't want to risk the Focus Blast at this point in time when I had a sack in Cobalion and could go into Mandibuzz and pick it off. I think that was my play. So here, I knew Foul Play was far too obvious, and that gave a free switch into Milotic, and Milotic could heal up on me, and I didn't want Milotic to heal up because I was going to really struggle to break through it. So I just U-turn out to my Alakazam, and so again, I was able to make a quite, not particularly aggressive, but it was just a smart play. It was a bit of a 50-50, and I was able to make sure it worked. If he tried to flinch me down, I think I would have lost the game there by U-turning into my Alakazam, because I would have had to sack it and Mandibuzz wouldn't have beat Milotic. But we got the 50-50 right, and Grace Marvel scale, but it's not going to be too important because even if he does burn us, Excadrill would revenge kill, no problem. So here, I have nothing that can kill this Milotic. I have to 2-hit KO it with Shadow Ball and hope that he doesn't recover. But he doesn't actually recover in case I'm some sort of like Subcam Mind recover set, or maybe not recover, but if I'm a sort of Subcam mindset, it would really struggle Milotic to break me down. So he's fine sacking his Milotic off, which I thought I was like, oh, I've won at this point in time. I was like, oh, that's guaranteed to win. He had to recover there. So like, at this point, I'm like, yes, I've won the game. All it takes is a Focus Blast land on this Excadrill, and I've won the game. Perfect. So we click Focus Blast on this banded Excadrill, and he outspeeds us, and he actually wasn't banded. He was Choice Band Sand Force, which the Sand Force made it look like Choice Band, and I had completely forgot Sand Force existed, so I could have thrown the game just expecting this to be Choice Banded Excadrill. So it basically comes down to Mandibuzz versus the world, which means if he flinches us here, we lose, but luckily enough we get the roost off and put us up to a very nice point of health, up at 164, and then we take the leftovers. So at this point in time, I was free to fire off a Foul Play because I know if he hard switches Latios, it kills him, or if he tries to flinch me down, I can recover on the next one. So I fire off the Foul Play, which brings Latios in, which actually was going to, if he had T-Bolt then Draco, he would have killed us, but luckily enough we were able to Foul Play the Latios, and that play basically cements the game. And let's see, flinches us down, and as was already shown this season, his Excadrill likes to have a little bit of a roleplay as Jirachi to get him some wins, you know. It was a Jirachi Drill that got him the win versus Archie, and last game against us, Jirachi Drill didn't flinch us to get the win, so will it do it this time? So he Iron Heads on our Foul Play, and he does flinch us. So at this point I have to roost up. and because at this point I just don't want to get plunged down. Like at this point in time, I know I'm a bit stalling. I do apologise to Panther for this, and I apologise to him after the battle. Like I do make it look like I'm just stalling him out here, but I couldn't let myself get flinched like 3 times in a row to lose the game, when if I had just roosted up at an earlier point in the game I would have won. So I want to make sure I'm basically near full before I click foul play. So here he ironheads, and I click foul play, you know, it takes us down. The chance of this extra drill breaking through us was very, very low because Ironhead was doing such little and foul play 2-hit KOs. But at this point in time, again, I just click foul play, knowing that unless he flinches me about 5 times in a row, we've won the game. But he flinches here, and I roost because at that point in time, if I hadn't roosted and that had flinched there, I was in range of 2 more Ironheads, so that was basically down to next flinch wins a game. So I roosted there, and I know it kind of upset him a little bit in his video, but again, I wasn't taking a risk. 30% is quite a big risk. Like, you know, like look at Skullburn. Skullburn seemed to happen like every turn, but now we just click foul play one more time after this Ironhead. I don't think there's any more flinches, and Mandibuzz. I think I'm pretty confident Mandibuzz has been my kill leader through the regular season, and I think this is it, picking up about its 15th kill or something like that of the season. So great game to Panther. Like, just want to thank you for, you know, helping run the league, recording battles for me, and just help me team build all through the season. You've had a fantastic season, and you know, thanks for the great battle, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next game against Elite 4 Dan, when hopefully I can pick up the W.